I kind of knew that I needed to go be my own person and do my own things.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did with little to no thought. And
Yeah.
that process, I think that can get a lot of people into hot water. For me, it
Sure.
has helped me flourish. I've done things that I didn't think I'd be doing at all, like that was a magazine interview or shooting a film. You know,
Yeah.
so far, across state lines. Like I've done things that I would have never been able to if I had stayed comfortable and stayed
Right.
familiar to what I knew.
And action!
Hello and welcome to another CineMAINEia Maine Attractions, where I talk with the folks working in Maine's film and TV industry. If you'd like to watch this episode, head on over to CineMAINEia's YouTube channel, and you might want to do that. This week we have actor, director, and writer David Michael Brown III. David, how you doing?
Hey Derek, how you doing? I'm doing honestly so amazing today. I'm so ready and so excited to be here with you and talk about everything that's great.
Thank you. Me too. Um, so we're in that transition period between Halloween leading up to Thanksgiving. Do you have any Thanksgiving traditions?
Thanksgiving traditions. Thanksgiving is all about family, spending time with your loved ones. Naturally, I think everyone usually spends their Thanksgivings with their loved
Yeah.
ones, their family. This year has been a really busy year, so same as last year. I think last year's in my life have been some of the busiest years. So
Yeah.
if I have any Thanksgiving rituals, it's usually staying with my loved ones and enjoying the
Yeah.
feast festivities. But this year we're working, and honestly,
Yeah.
I'm more than blessed to say that that is the case.
Right. 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 So let's go back to the beginning. Where did you grow up?
Um, so I actually grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut. I was born in New York. I was born in White Plains, New York. Grew up
Okay.
in Greenwich, Connecticut for most of my life, and um, you know, lived out most of my juvenile years there. Right now, I live in the Boston area. I moved out of high school, so it's
Yeah.
been such a crazy ride for me.
Nice. Yeah. It's just White Plains. I'm not sure how far Greenwich is from New York City. Is that a travelable distance?
Yeah, it is. It's about an hour. It's about an hour drive. Sometimes, honestly, 40 minutes, depending
Okay.
on the day. The traffic is always crazy going to New York. Same as here in Boston. I don't know why I
Yeah.
chose the two worst places with traffic laws, but it
Right.
honestly it really just yeah, it's not a far commute. My family moved to Greenwich to give us a better grounding, a better
Yeah.
base for learning and everything that we could, because in the area that we were in, it was very much impoverished. Like a lot
Yeah.
of things were going on over there, but it was definitely a great move for me and great because now we're here.
Yeah. As a kid, so with that kind of a shortish commute in, as a kid, were you able to go into the city quite a bit? See
Oh,
shows and anything like that? Yeah.
actually, to see shows and whatnot, I didn't even know what theater was when I
Yeah.
was young, to be honest. I was always in the city with my family, just I would say creating memories, doing
Yeah.
things that any family would. I grew up with my grandmother and my two aunts and my seven other siblings. So,
Yeah.
I didn't have my parents in my life that much, but when they were around, they were very much around. So I was always in the city.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So you mentioned you didn't know really what theater was at the beginning, but what kind of kid were you? Were you a creative kid?
Oh, always. I was making YouTube videos off of a tablet that you order on some weird website for probably like $100 that doesn't work,
Yeah.
but I thought to myself that was doing something, and I've always filmed things. I've always filmed things, and I
Yeah.
didn't know it would lead into acting because at first I was just having fun.
Right. Yeah. Very cool. Are there any of those little videos or projects that you did that kind of stick out in your mind?
Um, none that I hope you guys would ever go out and search for.
Right.
But definitely there is some out there, very embarrassing stuff. But honestly, it's the beginning of the journey. I think I
Yeah.
was as a little kid, every kid wants to be a superhero, so I was starting off filming myself, wanting to be Spider-Man or wanting to be a Batman or something
Yeah.
like that. Just that's what I was doing, and I was just hitting upload to YouTube, no editing, no sound,
Yeah.
no nothing, just kind of,
Yeah.
bare balls.
Right. 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 um, were you taking inspiration from or parodying movies and things that you had seen? Like a yeah.
1,000%. I think
Yeah.
around the time that I was growing up, Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man had just came out.
Yeah.
Around that time, The Dark Knight was such a staple in, everything that was going on
Yeah.
pop culturally, that and my dad being such a very a comic book person, I've always grew up things around that nature. So,
Yeah.
when I got into the started seeing movies and started watching things, I was really just recreating what I was seeing. So it didn't matter what director, what studio it came from. It was really just, I really love that visual, I love that
Yeah.
image, and I love this superhero. I want to try to recreate that.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I'm a little older than you, quite a bit. And when I was a kid, what we were parodying, a lot of people were doing. Blair Witch Project was kind of like the first thing of that kind that I mean, it wasn't the first found footage movie, but it was very popular when I was a kid, and it was very easy to spoof. All you had to do is, turn your camcorder onto night vision, mode, and
Right.
and point it at yourself. And so I remember that. That's fun. At what point did you start getting into performing?
um I would say I started getting into performing around my early teen years. So going in middle school, I was very much an athlete. I swore up and down I was gonna, play a
Yeah,
sport, do something professionally, if not professionally, collegiately. But
yeah,
uh, funny story, and this is very quick, but I actually had a teacher who very much so ran our theater department at the middle school,
yeah,
and no other boys were basically auditioning for the musicals. No other boys were. And
yeah,
as a joke, I thought, I would just be funny because little me thought, hey, if I do this, I might get, who knows who's gonna look at me. And sure enough, she was just like, after those few auditions live in front of everybody, she was like, I see something in you and I want you
yeah.
to do this. And if you don't do this, you can be staying in my classroom like after school and things like that. So like, she's absolutely insane. But
Yeah,
honestly, from there on, I was able to become the lead of both the shows that I auditioned for, the
yeah,
main lead at that. And from there, I knew I had something. I knew I had
yeah.
something, but it definitely it stopped. After that, after middle school, I stopped acting once again. So
Oh, yeah. um, what? So you said you were thinking of you were going to do something athletic, and so is that what you pursued into college? If you had stopped the acting, yeah.
I do. I actually I have a folder where I keep most of my past documents, things of that nature, but I have my acceptance letter to Penn State's Beaver campus where I was going to go play basketball.
Mm,
And I had a bunch of I had around, I would say, like 4 or 6 offers around that time.
well,
I had a lot, especially around in a position where a lot of people in the same area where I grew up, like I said, Greenwich, Connecticut. It was very the minorities there are very minorities. So it's
yeah,
you get looked at with under a different eye, under a different
yeah,
scrutiny. And
sure,
playing basketball and doing all of that, I was always told I was never going to get where I wanted to be. I was told I was never going to get those offers. I was told that I was never good enough, whether that was by my literal teammates or people who, just
yeah,
didn't like me. That was
yeah,
always the case. So, yeah, once I had gotten those offers and everything, like that was my go-to. But
yeah,
unfortunately, actually, I didn't go to college. I didn't even step foot on a campus,
yeah,
but was accepted to around 6, 7 colleges.
yep. Um, how does being told that you are not going to be able to do it, is that fuel, or did that did that drag you down, or did that just fuel you to prove people wrong?
Oh, it absolutely fueled me. I loved it. Honestly, I
Yeah,
think it made me so angry, so much so to where the point that was my only goal. And whether or
yeah,
not some people, some people can take that very selfishly. They can make that their whole personality, trying to
yeah,
one up somebody, trying to be better. But it wasn't the case of trying to prove a point that I was better. It was
yeah,
trying to prove the point that not only do I deserve a seat at everyone's table, but I deserve a seat here because not only am I as good as you, I'm probably better than you.
yeah,
And that was always my thinking. Like I didn't make my high school basketball team my freshman, sophomore year, my junior, senior year. That's when I made it, and I
yeah,
played varsity. You know,
yeah,
most of the time. Not only that, but I was able to play AAU, and on high level teams, and that's
yeah,
like outside organization basketball. So I was definitely I had a lot of I would say energy. I had a lot of
yeah,
motion behind my feet.
yeah, yeah. Well, you're talking to nerdy, nerdy thin. I was a nerdy skinny white boy. I didn't make the basketball team. They did. They did allow me to be the statistician one
Oh
year,
man.
which happened to be the only year that I know of that they won the my high school won the state championship. So it was a cool ride, but yeah, I was that was never in my cards. I was
It obviously wasn't in my car either,
yeah.
because look at where we are now, you know?
Right. um, so what did you do instead once you left high school?
Um, Once I had left high school, I
Yeah.
definitely uh I went completely, I would say like off the rails. I
Okay.
kind of I kind of knew that I needed to go be my own person and do my own things.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did with little to no thought. And that
Yeah.
that process, I think that can get a lot of people into hot water. For me, it
Sure.
has helped me flourish. I've done things that I didn't think I'd be doing at all, like that was a magazine interview or shooting a film.
Yeah.
So far, across state lines. Like I've done things that I would have never been able to if I had stayed comfortable and stayed
Right.
familiar to what I knew.
Yeah. Um, what led you to pursue, acting full time? Was there something that just kind of changed?
Definitely. I had been sitting home one day and had I still go through a lot of mental struggles. I think that's such a very popular topic nowadays that
Yeah.
everybody's talking about it. Um, but I've definitely learned to control that a lot more so recently.
Yeah.
Um, when I was younger, that was such a bigger problem, and I had been sitting home one day thinking like, what am I doing? Like what am I
Yeah.
doing with myself? I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. And around that time, I had actually had my son. I am a father of a son, a little
Yeah.
boy, 2 years. His name is Grayson, and just the
Nice.
most amazing little boy ever. But around that
Yeah.
time, I had just given up basketball. I wasn't going to college. I was really just sitting home on my butt doing nothing.
Yeah.
But um, I had been basically just walking in New York one day,
Yeah.
and I see this person and they come up to me and they go, "You should, apply to this place. You should apply to this agency."
Yeah.
So I did that, and by chance, they actually accepted me with the least amount of work I've ever had. And
Yeah.
from there, I knew that was a sign, and I had to continue. I had to push. I had to
Yeah.
push because even getting into an agency's length, like that's such a
Yeah.
big step for so many still to this day. So
Yeah. Very cool. Um, so I'm not sure if this is the first thing, but I think this might bring us up to tonight's. And can you just tell us what that project was about?
nights. Oh, okay. Um, Nights was actually the very first series web web
Yeah.
series I was a part of. Uh, I still parade that I was in that because without that, I would. It's humble beginnings. I think
Yeah.
without that series, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Yep.
It was very popular in the town that we were shooting it in Elizabeth, New Jersey. It's about, you know, vampires, werewolves, all the teenage things you can
Yeah.
kind of think of together in, uh, I would say revitalized way. But I guess this is the scoop or a tea for you here. But honestly, I think throughout the whole time on that set, it genuinely it wasn't on the level of what I
Yeah.
needed to be on, and it wasn't on the level of what I was pursuing. And
Sure.
at the time, I didn't know that because I was so infatuated with being a part of things. And that's the
Yeah.
great, that's a great feeling. That's how you know you love what you're doing. But
Yeah.
when you get good at what you're doing and you actually start putting in time and investing money and doing what you want to do to get better, and you're in a project or and in a product that's not really aligning with what you want, it's probably best to step away. And
Sure.
that's basically what I did. I still keep in touch with some of the guys from that TV show, and they're flourishing, doing their own things.
Yeah.
Um, Met them, a lot of people through that show, but overall, I tried to, keep my distance and kind of just let it
Yeah.
be in the past.
Sure. Yeah. I mean that. I assume that that's going to be a hard decision to make. To say, I'm sort of doing what I want to do, but not quite. But so I have to step away from something,
Right.
that is paying, I assume paying me to be there, and whatnot. I'm not sure, but
Hey, well, we'll let that leave that
yeah.
up to interpretation.
Um, well, anyway, um, so I guess what we do want to get to is a couple things that have kind of come to fruition this year, and I think the first one I want to talk about is Welcome Home, Chapter One. Uh, can you describe for folks, well, what is the premise of that, and what is the plan for that project?
So, Welcome Home was actually just supposedly a one-off short, very, 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 very short. But
Yep.
after a lot of going through my notes, like I said, I am also a writer, so going through a lot of my old drafts of things that I love, things that I kind of connected to already what was going on in the premise of Welcome Home. And the
Yeah.
premise of Welcome Home is, you know, it's about this character and this character Tyler, and he's very you're gonna see him. It's gonna be straight narration. There's gonna be some dialogue, and I'm still shooting this. It's still ongoing, but
Yeah.
it's about him kind of figuring out and learning within himself how to navigate and
Yeah.
become a man, and he does this by honestly going backwards in a way, and you'll see what I mean by that
Sure.
as the shorts come out.
Okay.
But essentially the whole premise of it is just to be, it's going to be a very self thought provoking series where it
Yep.
makes you, am I doing the right things? Is this necessarily the right thing? And what can we consider the right thing if that is the right thing?
Sure.
Um,
I got you.
we're in such a time right now that everybody feels like they're right in a way. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like if we can all just put ourselves in somebody else's shoes and live those very few moments, then maybe, just maybe, we can see exactly where the disperse or the disconnection comes from.
Okay. So the yeah, and so the plan will be a series of shorts
Yes.
uh, released. You have a
So as of right now, there is no set dates as to the
yep.
shorts because again, it was really supposed to be a one-off. So now I am kind of putting them
Yeah.
chronologically. I'm getting them ready, and I want to say I want to release them every month only because I am
Yeah.
so busy with
Right.
doing everything on the side. It's only probably going to be 6 to 10 episodes, very limited series, but I
Yeah.
just the short was to test the water. So now that I know that people had been putting eyes on my quick little thing project, I
Yeah.
can make these episodes longer. So we're gonna go for about 6, probably 10 episodes, maybe like 15, 20 minute episodes.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, I think I'll just tell the listeners. I mean, if you're interested in like following this thing from the beginning, like David said, the first one is short. It's a couple minutes. It's very easy to just get into and then get yourself primed for to follow the saga. So that's very cool.
Thank
And
you.
and you had mentioned writing. You directed it yourself. Are those two things, writing and directing, parts of entertainment that you had always been interested in trying out?
They were the first things I was interested in
Yeah,
trying out. I was so self-conscious. I didn't think being in front of an audience would be my thing.
yeah,
Um, but as I grew older, I became such an outgoing, out there person that all I wanted to do was be in front of people, tell stories, do make it like fool out of myself. Like if I can do that while still saying I'm enjoying myself, then that was always my plan. Writing
yeah.
came through the forms of poetry, short stories in school. Like I was always known to write very advanced stories at my age. I had a high reading level.
Yeah.
I was very much into literature. Throw any math problems in my face and I don't know what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
give me a book. Give me something where you're like, can you figure out the meaning of this? And I could probably write you 6 or 7 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Directing, we already talked about. I had been making videos since God
Right.
knows how long.
True.
So I think when you put those two together, it's just kind of it becomes
Yeah.
more obvious of what type of person I might have became.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So the other thing that came out recently, and as a recently means within the last week and a
Yeah.
half, 2 weeks by the time this episode comes out, is the end of the record. And so first, how did you? Well, yeah, how did you get involved with the end of the record?
So the end of the record, I had one night just been doing my usual, auditionings, sending things in, whatever,
Yeah.
working actors have to do.
Yeah.
Um, and I had actually gotten in contact with um one of the producers and other people on
Yeah.
this project. His name's Dan. I'm not going to give his full name because they are very private people. They don't like to do too much. But his
Yeah.
I believe it was his wife, or I think one of their workers, wife or workers. I'm so it was such a long time ago,
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
they had contacted me through Facebook, and they saw my profile. They saw my backstage profiles and things of that nature,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they had felt that I was the right choice for it.
Yeah.
So I sent them a couple more auditions. I sent Dan and Greg is the main guy around this film. He's the
Yeah.
producer, the director. He wrote it, he did everything. Like he is the main guy. It's his
Yeah.
vision, his films usually when they upload. But Secret Galaxy, they are a YouTube channel that has been around for almost 15 something years. Like they've
Okay.
been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And they always do periodic shorts and stuff. So they were very much not going to do it this year, and this was because the project was so intricate. It was very much a controversial project. They weren't sure how it was going to be received.
Yeah.
Um, and
Well,
I knew that I was a
yeah.
person for it. I just knew I
Yeah.
was the right person for it. I love anything that has to do with making people feel uncomfortable or step
Yeah.
outside their comfortability, because that's just what I love doing to myself. But yeah,
Yeah.
they contacted me. We got through it. I did a bunch of auditions, and eventually I got the part as the unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. And you talked about reception. I mean, we're talking huge. I watched it yesterday, and it was already above 10,000 views, and we're talking within less than 10 days. It seems incredible.
Honestly, it's amazing. Especially seeing how hard we had worked with such a small crew. There was really only 6 people, six
Yeah.
of us, and we put all of this together. Me and my co-stars. Shout outs to Mike, Chelsea, Kayla. They did amazing. Oh my God, so
Yeah.
amazing. DJ, the special effects on the blood with my neck and everything, amazing, amazing. But we did all these in basically 2 days and 2 weekends.
Yeah.
So we we really rolled around in that dirt. We really got ourselves in that mode because we wanted to not only make sure Greg's vision came true, we wanted
Yeah.
to show that we were we were strong enough actors to make amazing with whatever was given to us.
Yeah.
So that was the main goal. And I knew that once we started getting the reception, like you said, like the 10K and everything, even a lot of people even commenting on my performance, like it very much so, like it hits home because these are
Yeah.
things that you always pray for. These are things that you want to happen. And it's not because I want to be famous, but because I want to be seen for how
Yeah.
good I did for my work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, when you're talking about the film, how do you describe it? What do you tell people it's about?
the end of the record is a it's very much so up to your interpretation.
Yep.
If I had to say, it is an allegory on AI and how AI is now the plague to all creation, all human creation.
Yeah.
And, you know, we wanted to really hit home the fact that no matter how you interpret this film in
Yeah.
reality, human creation cannot be replicated without it being at least a bit off.
Yeah.
It's just never going to feel right. And so the whole takeaway of this story is that if you're going to go make something, do it. Don't half-ass it. Don't AI it. Don't
Yeah.
go out and find those little cheap roads. If you're going to go
Sure.
out, do it. Put your all. Do your best because you might feel like nobody will see it, but eventually somebody will.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Very cool. Um, I'm interested. So you had a few projects or a bit of experience coming into this one. What from your previous work did you kind of bring in to this project? What lessons or things like that that you kind of tap into?
So funny enough, actually, I really had to pull from a person who's actually kind of a mentor slash bigger brother in a way.
Yeah.
Um, his name is Anthony Correa, and he is one of the best actors that I have seen. He isn't as
Sure.
famous, obviously, but I think that's the case with a lot of things. A lot of people, there's a lot of great actors who haven't hit that status yet. But for me, he is my mentor, and I look up to him.
Yeah.
He told me basically that I had something I had something that I doubted within myself because I failed to see how everybody else saw it. And
Yeah.
I've always been one who's been hard on myself, no matter what the performance, no matter what I've done.
Sure.
And he told me that the realest way that I could bring any character to life was to truly just be myself, live in that moment. And
Yeah.
because of that actually led me to start training in the Meisner technique, learning to be in the moment, not so necessarily already have a consumption of what you're going to feel in those moments, but
Yeah.
feeling it in that moment, getting
Sure.
it down to the nitty gritty. And when I was in the end of the record, when we're filming the end of the record, it was honestly the hardest because there was such little dialogue, but we had to convey heavy emotions
Yeah.
and tell this story with our faces. And this was the first project I really truly had to do that without an over
Sure.
expose of dialogue. So,
Yeah.
really getting in and getting into that gut punch area where I have to dig and feel what this person is bringing towards me. And again, my co-star Kayla, she did amazing at helping me kind of project that nature. So
Sure.
when you see her and I like kind of going back and forth in the film, and I'm struggling to get those lines out, it's because
Yeah.
in that moment I'm genuinely struggling to get those lines out, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm tripping because I'm trying not to look like I'm fake, not fake crying, but like actually crying,
Yeah.
and seem as AI as I could, but
Yeah.
generally like I think the process throughout shooting it was such a fun thing. It was such a fun ordeal, and honestly I would do it 12 times over, a million times over if I could.
Yeah. Very cool. On the flip side of that question, what did you what did you learn from this project that you're going to bring into future projects?
The one thing I did learn was that you can never expect what your work is going to look like until you see it.
Yeah.
So if I really feel like a take isn't it,
Yeah.
if unless the director says, cut, we're good, because obviously the director knows what he wants, and sometimes you can step on their toes, let them know like, hey, I don't know, maybe we can do something here, but generally my thing is I'm here to do a job. I'm
Yeah.
hired to do a job. So if
Yeah.
I can really just stick to my roots and not let everything else get into me, then that's the one thing I learned from here, is that you can't predict how everything's going to go. So give your 1,000, 1,000,000% always.
Yeah. Talking about future projects, you have a few things coming down the line for people to watch out for, and one of those is, I believe, a TV pilot that you just filmed. What can you tell us about that experience?
Not much, Derek, and I'm so sorry, but
That's all right.
we will definitely be getting more news about that
Yeah.
later this year. Maybe beginning next year, who knows? But
Yeah.
we will definitely be getting a lot more news on that. It was such a fun shoot. I'm only a day player, so I'm only in probably an episode or so.
Yeah.
But I can just say that it was one of the first things I'd done that was kind of way out there, and it's a horror comedy. It's going to be not horror comedy. I'm pretty sure it's a murder mystery comedy, like
Okay.
sitcom show, and it's going to be very out there, but from what I've seen, it's definitely a treat, and it's something that I can't wait for people to see me in.
Yeah. Very cool. And you worked with Mark J. Parker a little bit
Y-
on that? Yeah.
yes, yeah, he is. Actually the picked up the series from Greg Pomeroy, who had asked him to come pick up the show to basically reshoot it for television,
Yeah.
and Mark, being the amazing director person
Yeah.
he is, you know, he really brought life onto like the set. Like we had fun. It was
Yeah.
such a great time, and being a male model, I didn't really have to think about much. I really had to
Right.
play some sort of like bimbo. But honestly, I think that Mark is he's one of the best talent slash directors slash persons I've worked with. Such a caring, genuine person.
Yeah.
Alongside Greg from the Secret Galaxy. Like, I think as of recently, I haven't had a bad experience on set, and that's
Yeah.
such a relieving thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I talked to Mark um, on the podcast. That was fantastic, and I went down to Biddeford to see his short "Stranger in the Snow."
Oh, amazing, amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. And I'm pretty sure it's doing its festival runs right now.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Would you have any other upcoming projects or anything you're excited about?
So as of right now, I don't do a lot of fan projects. I think that it's been growing a lot more. I think for
Yeah.
me in my stage in my career, I think that is best that I go for full-fledged projects.
Yep.
Um, but I am signed for a project that I've been signed on for about 2 years now.
Okay.
And it's because it's a very ambitious project. The person who's doing it, Alex J. Carter, he's putting all of this together by himself, whether that's funding, the teams, the writing, whatever the case may be. But the fan series is Power Rangers Western Strike, and you can see that all over
Okay.
my page. It has a huge budget to it. Right now, we're planning on hopefully starting shoots early spring next year.
Nice.
That's what I've been told, but honestly, that's the only updates I can truly give.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. Well, my last question is always my last question, which is, do you have a favorite movie, or can you give me three movies, three desert island movies?
Man, okay, okay. Am I timed? Derek, don't
No.
time me. I don't know if I'm being timed. Okay. I'm
No
just joking.
There's no time.
Let me see. All-time favorite movies. Okay. This one's gonna sound absolutely silly, but it literally made up my childhood, and it was the movie that was on my house 24/7. That was Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
One of my favorite movies, holiday films of all time. Just I love that film.
Yeah.
Two, I'm gonna have to go with. Okay. This is really hard. This is truly hard. The Django Unchained
Yep.
at 2, and 3. Oh my God, this is really hard. I hate that I'm on the spot. Are you gonna chop this up, or is it all gonna be? Because I don't want to waste time.
I appreciate how honest you're being, because you literally we don't know each other. You could just say 3.
I'm sorry. I just like to be open and make sure everything runs smoothly. But
that's fantastic.
Yeah, no. So we have Jingle All the Way. We have the Django Unchained, and third and last. New Jack City.
Yeah.
New Jack City. And that could be interchangeable with Juice. Honestly, I love the cult black movies. I think every black child grew up on those staple films. So Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
You know, the Vampire from the Bronx. Like I forgot exactly what the title was, but like there's so many movies from that era that I could just say are my favorite. Honestly, I love films. I just love films. But if I had to choose my top 3, there you go.
There you go. Very cool. Well, was there anything that I missed that you wanted to talk about, or anything else you wanted to plug?
I don't think we missed anything. As for plugging, if you guys want to follow me on anything or see what I'm doing that's upcoming, my Instagram at David Michael Brown III. I believe that's the same for everything. Whether that's my Twitter, that's David Brown III at David Brown III. David Michael Brown III on Instagram, everything. But look my name up, and you guys can find me on almost every platform: TikTok, Twitter, X, Twitter / Twitter with Threads, whatever case may be. But yeah, I am on all those platforms.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for reaching out and taking time to talk with me.
Oh no, thank you for having me, Derek. And honestly, it was such an amazing time.
Thank you. All right. See ya.
See you guys.
CineMAINEia is hosted and produced by Derek Brown, Mike Pritchard, and Nick Costigan. Editing and sound design by Bud and Bird Media. Email us at mainefilmpod@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at CineMAINEia.
All right. Well, see you later.